Okay, so we're having fun with the Common Core stuff. My daughter has a math, it's like a series of worksheets. They do one every class for math, right? It's math, and you do it in class. Everybody does it at the same time, okay? And we don't have a Common Core curriculum in our school, but occasionally they'll use Common Core materials. I don't know why, but go figure. So I'm looking at this. One of them was perimeter of a triangle, right? You had two sides, 18 each, right? And then it said the total perimeter of the triangle is, I don't know, 54 or something like that. And so, but the way they asked the question was so confusing. The sides have to add up to 54. So it's 18 and 18, 36, 54 minus 36, okay? So the way they were telling them to go about figuring out this answer, by the time it was over, Maria, I don't even understand what they're saying. Now, this is fourth grade. Okay, I wasn't great at math, but I was really good at math at that level. I mean, when I got up to calculus, I was hopeless. I'm just not a math mind. I am jealous of people who do have a math mind, but it's not yours truly at all. Still terrible at math. So I'm thinking, well, maybe Common Core is maybe this is a new way of learning. Maybe this is great. So we decided to look into how simple equations are being taught to kids. Equations, addition equation, right? Just simple addition. Remember how you learned? You just memorized. What happened to memorization? Why can't we memorize? Okay? But no. We don't just memorize any longer. We think of new ways to do simple addition facts like 9 plus 6.
Our young learners might not be altogether comfortable thinking about what 9 plus 6 is.
Uncomfortable?
They are quite comfortable thinking about their friend 10.
10?
10 is emphasized in our young grades as we're working in a base 10 system.
A friend 10?
So if we can partner 9 to a number and anchor 10, we can help our students see what 9 plus 6
Partnering?
is.
It sounds like a
So we're going to decompose
marriage.
our 6. And we know 6 is made up of parts. One of its parts is a 1. And the other part is a 5. We're now going to anchor our 9 to a 1.
Well, why couldn't it be 2
allowing
plus 4?
our students to anchor to that 10.
Anchor this.
Now our students are seeing that we have 10 plus 5, having more comfort seeing that 10 plus 5 is 15.
When I was in school, my teachers weren't worried about my, quote, comfort. We sat in really uncomfortable chairs, right? We memorized a whole bunch of facts, and those facts I remember to this day. We memorize things. But the friend Tim, I kept saying, who's the friend Tim? And then Mike said it's 10. I'm like, where's Tim? And we're partnering Tim. Same-sex equations.
I just want to point out to the audience that this took 50 seconds.
50?
50 seconds.
Why can't you just, you know what I do, Dimitri? Okay, Dimitri, I take the higher number, 9, then count up 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Our friend 10.
Our friend 10. I want to suck your blood and bring you back to the basics. So I would just go 9, then count up 6. So 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, look, I have 6 little fingers.
And it took you 3 seconds.
It took me 3 seconds to do that. Well, joining us now is Jane Robbins, attorney, senior fellow with the American Principles Project in Washington. Fatal flaws of Common Core as support among teachers plummets. Fewer than half now of teachers support Common Core, according to the latest survey. And Jane joins us now. Jane, now we're having kind of fun with this, but have you had a friend named 10 lately? Is 10 your friend too?
No, I'm not close to 10, I'm afraid. I did see that video yesterday, and I thought my head would explode.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, I understand it is easier to add 10 plus 5, but that's just kind of a lot of extra steps when we could just memorize 9 plus 6. I mean, memorization is also good for the mind. I mean, it's just you just get it done. You memorize, you get it done.
Well, the problem is that the progressive educators don't believe in memorization. They think that's so 20th century. We're now in the 21st century, and we have to have deeper conceptual understanding. That's a buzzword. All of this is no buzzword left behind. So deeper conceptual understanding requires children to be able to break down all these numbers and figure out why this is the case and why that is the case. The problem is that we've tried this before. This is not new. This is recycled failure. They tried it in California, for example, 20 years ago, and it was a disaster.
Is this new math?
They quit.
The new math?
Yes. It's exactly what it is.
My brother's a math teacher, and I got to get him on the phone to talk to him about this. I just think this whole coddling the kids, they're not comfortable with 9 plus 6. Well, you're really going to be uncomfortable when China eats your lunch because Chinese memorize. They don't do this breaking up the numbers into 3 parts, do they?
No, they don't. In fact, the countries that perform very, very well in math internationally have standards very, very different from Common Core. Common Core supposedly was internationally benchmarked, but it's not. In fact, the standards of these other countries do things completely differently from the way we're doing it.
You know, the Kumon, those Kumon learning centers, I'm not saying they're all that it's cracked up to be, but I mean, these Kumon learning centers, which, you know, make huge amounts of money, and they are, I mean, my friends' kids who do it, I mean, I tried it, and I didn't care for the person who ran it, so we kind of dropped out, but for my friends who've done Kumon, it's just memorization. That's the Korean method, right? They do the Korean method of, they have the matrices, and they do it, they time their progress and chart their progress, and it's just straight memorization. Seems to work pretty well for them.
Well, it works well for them because the research shows that children, especially at young ages, need to memorize. They have to get the basics down before they can get into the so-called deeper conceptual understanding. If you don't have that foundation, if that is never built or if it's delayed, then you have real problems throughout the rest of your math career. So there are states that are looking into what would happen if they just said, keep your money, we will do things our way, and we will be responsible for the results.
That's an idea, right? That's actually an idea that a very ambitious Republican could grab onto and make it sound really empowering. You're just taking us back to the 80s. Reagan tried that. He can do it. No, we actually say now we have decades of actual results that we can look at, and we can demonstrate that more federal involvement does not mean better test scores, better advancement vis-a-vis our global competitors. And we want to do things a new way, and we think the Department of Education gets in the way of real innovation. And I worked at the Department of Education, okay? I was a speechwriter when Bill Bennett was Education Secretary. And, you know, I like Bennett, and he's an old friend. But I remember these people, floor after floor after floor, Jane, of bureaucrats in the Department of Education. I had no idea what most of them did. Post-secondary education office. I mean, it was bilingual education. I mean, there were all these offices with their seals. They had the big seals on the wall, you know, carved seals. But what the heck are they doing? Just thousands of people in this building on Maryland Avenue Southwest. I'd go in every day. I was 20, 21, 22 years old. I guess I'm a speechwriter. I make a paycheck, but I didn't get it back then before I knew anything.
The bureaucracy always will expand if it's not cut short or abolished, and that's exactly what's happened in education. And to some extent, it's happened on the state level as well. We've got huge state bureaucracies, but most of those have grown in order to fulfill the federal mandate.
Yeah, so the bigger the federal presence, the bigger the state bureaucracy will be to respond to it. Is that your point?
That's exactly right. And the more bureaucracy you have, whether on the state level or the federal level, the more people you have between the parent and her child's education. The parent knows the child better than anyone else in the world, and the parent is responsible for that education. Now parents have practically no say, especially in states that have adopted Common Core. They can't even complain to their local school superintendent because he has no control over it. It's all being done by anonymous people in Washington.
This is why people on the left hate homeschoolers, because that's the ultimate way to take their power away.
Yes.
No, you won't do this to our children. You just won't do this. I might have to homeschool my kids. How did I do the radio show?